Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is Adrian. Thank you so much for joining me today. So, today we have a Europa Universalis IV development diary. Today, Johan posted this on the Paradox forum. There is a link in the description down below. And so, there are some big changes coming to Europa Universalis IV, especially in the Asian sphere, if you guys already have not known. So, this development diary in particular, it is the 14th of February 2017. Happy Valentine's Day. This development diary focused on Japan. So basically, Japan as an actual tag, like Japan, actually doesn't exist anymore. There actually is kind of a breakup of all these different daimyos and such, and they're actually going to have specific tags and specific names. So during the period of Europa Universalis IV, at least the start date in 1444 AD, the Ashikaga Shogunate was the shogunate that was in power here in Japan. And so basically, Johan is telling us that you can play as the Ashikaga Shogunate. You will be the shogun if you do that. There is no unified nation of Japan, just to get that across. And you can have the shogunate government form as the Ashikaga Shogunate, and then all of your vassals will be daimyo vassals. So they have their own unique government form. They have certain mechanics and such. If Ashikaga loses Kyoto, which is the capital right here, which is the capital of Japan in this time period, then you'll actually lose the shogunate. And the daimyo that conquers it becomes the new shogun, right? So basically, it's like Shogun 2 Total War, but in Europa Universalis IV fashion. Any nation that is a daimyo but is no longer subject to the shogun will become an independent daimyo, a government form that allows you to become an empire. So basically, if you're able to break free from Japanese control, or at least shogunate control, you actually become your own independent daimyo faction that you can potentially become an empire with. And it's interesting that he mentions this, because I wonder if you are an empire as an independent daimyo, you can actually become Japan yourself and kind of claim that mantle of legitimacy compared to, say, the shogun, right? Because the shogun, no matter who he pretended that he was, the shogun was not any sort of puppet head of the emperor, right? The emperor did exist, and the emperor was around. It's just that the shogun was that military dictator of Japan, and there was this really fine, I guess you would say, you could call it a fine balance between the shogunate and the emperor. There was that back and forth. So let's keep going here. Japan can be formed if you are the shogun, have at least 25 cities, or there are no daimyos left. A daimyo can also form Japan if they're independent and there's no other daimyos around. So yeah, as I suspected here, a daimyo can also form Japan if you are independent and there are no other daimyos around. So that's pretty cool. Let's see here. The first feature are mechanics tied to the shogunate government form. So he says feature. I'm assuming that this feature is possibly a paid feature. He doesn't really mention it per se, but there's something new coming to the shogunate government form. Each daimyo at peace reduces your stability cost by 2% each to a maximum of 20% cheaper, and gives you 0.1 yearly legitimacy up to a maximum of +1 yearly legitimacy. So that's pretty cool. There's also a yearly prestige impact ranging from -1 to +1, depending on how isolated daimyos are. Let's see, compared to the shogunate. There's something more about shogunate features and isolationism. I guess there's this feature called isolation. There's this feature called isolationism, and that'll be discussed in some new Shintoism mechanics. So that's pretty cool. So we should expect a development diary in the future about Shintoism. The shogunate government form itself lost the bonus to diplomatic relations and instead gained a bonus diplomat. However, daimyos no longer cost diplomatic upkeep. So there's like some sort of I think there's like 30 or 20 daimyos now, and so they no longer cost diplomatic upkeep. I don't even know if they did before previously, but I'd have to go back and check that out. Let's see. Shogunates also have 3 abilities that they can use from the government form for a mere cost of 20 legitimacy. Now he says mere cost, but 20 legitimacy is pretty huge. But once you take a look at some of these features here, you might feel a little different about spending that legitimacy. So Sword Hunt will reduce the manpower and force limits of all daimyo subjects while increasing the shogun's manpower and force limit. Basically, this guarantees that your daimyo is not rebellious, so that's pretty cool. We got Senkin Kotai is a reduced diplomatic relation slots of all daimyo subjects by 1 and increases the shogun's diplomatic reputation by 3. So 3 is a very particular number. Basically, this allows you to continue to annex daimyos peacefully, even when you've just annexed one daimyo, right? You don't have to deal with that annexed subject diplomatic relation malice anymore. Now, for the cost of 20 legitimacy, honestly, I would pay 20 legitimacy to get 3 diplomatic reputation. That's pretty amazing. Plus, by reducing the diplomatic relation slot of all daimyo subjects by 1, you are basically guaranteeing that if there is some sort of war between your daimyos and yourself, or your daimyos and other daimyos, they have less allies with which to work with. This third feature here is you can forcibly expel Ronin and lowers all subjects' liberty desire by 5%. If you're asking me, this expel Ronin is actually pretty weak. 20 legitimacy to expel Ronin. That really does not sound very, very good to me, but I don't know. I guess the liberty desire, if you're like between that 50% and 55%, you might use this, and for 20 legitimacy, you might be able to annex a subject. So that is interesting. Let's see here. Secondly, there are also 5 new subject interactions for Shogunate to use in their daimyo vassals, and all of them require them to have a liberty desire of less than 50%. So you can only use these subject interactions when your subjects are loyal. For seppuku, you can actually force the daimyo ruler to die. This will not start a war for the next ruler. AI only. Can only be done if the ruler has started a war with another daimyo. Shogun gains 5 times new ruler's monarch power. I'm not really sure exactly what this means, but basically I think this means that you can get a 666 Shogun as much as you want. If you're... Okay, so this means basically if the daimyo has gone to war with another daimyo, you can actually force that daimyo to commit seppuku. That's interesting. Let's see here. So you would want to be careful about going to war if you have a 666 ruler. That's cool. Return land. On daimyos that have an independent nation's cores, force them to return that core. So say you invade Korea and you give a core mistakenly to a daimyo, you can actually force that daimyo to give land back to Korea. That's kind of cool. Contribute to the capital, gain 1 development point in your capital, and they lose 2 development in the daimyo's lands. Can be done if they have more than 33% development of the shogunate lands. So basically, if your daimyos become more powerful than you can actually force them to contribute to the capital, which is kind of cool. Some people have actually speculated that this is kind of counterintuitive or counterproductive, because if you're going to annex the daimyo territory anyway, why are you going to go ahead and gain 1 development somewhere to lose 2 somewhere else? Some people have kind of grappled with that, but actually I think it makes some sense. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I would personally probably use this, especially if institutions are affected by this development, leaving one area and going to another. If institutions have something to gain from that's going to be a super powerful mechanic. This is basically free monarch points, right? So you can also conscript a general. The daimyo's highest pip general will be transferred to the overlord for 30 plus liberty desire, blocked for air and monarch generals. I don't actually know how useful this is going to be. I guess we'll find out. I mean, for 30 liberty desire to get a general, a high pip general, that would really depend on whether your daimyos have good army tradition, all sorts of factors, actually. So I'm not sure how useful that one actually is. And then there's actually a forced isolation up and down towards a shogunate, increases liberty desire by 25%. Like they said, they're going to talk about isolation, but this is going to be pretty significant if it raises liberty desire by 25%. And then here we have another picture of all those subject interactions. So that's pretty cool. There look to be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 daimyos here in this game. And this game is taking place, this screenshot here is in 1462. So there must have been some annexed daimyos by now. So we should be seeing some more, hopefully more tags here in Japan. That's going to be awesome. We can actually see the new Age of Discovery UI has been added up here. This new UI indicator for what age you're currently in. So that's kind of cool. They've also added here in the estates in your outliner, when you have your estates enabled here, they actually added the symbols. So this is influence, this is loyalty, and this is territory controlled. For your estates, before these were actually words. There's like I think it's like LT for loyalty. I think it's like IF for influence, and then I think territory is just like a T or land or something like that. So now it's actually icons. Makes everything a little easier to see, makes everything a little nicer to see. So that's gonna be awesome. And so that was it for this dev diary. Let me know what you think. If you're excited for these new Japan mechanics, or if you're not excited, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. I think this new patch is gonna be pretty huge, honestly. It's gonna be awesome. I think this new Europa Universalis IV expansion plus the Stellaris 1.5 expansion that's coming out, Stellaris Utopia, these are probably some of the largest overhauls of video games that I think Paradox Development Studio has probably ever done. So let me know in the comments below what you think about Japan. Do you like Japan? Do you want to play as Japan? Or do you want to play as somebody else? Do you not like these Japan mechanics? Do you not agree with some of my thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. So I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys very soon. Thanks so much.